Right, we're back. Time to get through ecology and recycling. Oh, I was unfinished. I didn't realize it only had a turn left. Neat. The best part is that I now have access to all the... I was sitting both finish the Mesavera. Vid. I just need for you to stay in place, otherwise you're fine. Okay. Start making that railroad connection. Just makes things easier if I can move. Yeah. So, I now should have access to the European cultures. Give me a minute before I can find one that looks familiar. Maybe it needs a turn. Yeah, I think it needs a couple turns for the thing to figure itself out. There is definitely a tendency for that. Right, Earth Mineral Mine. That's a lot of food buildings. Oh hey, a motel. The free merchant. The fairgrounds. I not built one of those? Okay. I'll save those for a bit later. Let's get you your modern earthworks. Time to build that programming language. Especially because the modern earthworks doesn't provide that much. Okay then, traffic signal, software firm, tab firm, switchboard, high-tech coal power, highway I guess, for earth, and then the photovoltaic stuff, I can get those stuff later. Once the game has figured itself out over there. The question becomes, does that outpace everything else in efficiency? Probably. Yeah, even the high-tech coal power plant can't quite keep up with that level of speed. Afterward, I have to build the mathematics department, though. Traction Engine Workshop provides quite a bit of production. Livy's also pretty good, but not amazing. That crane. Same with the parts plant. Or refinery is also quite good. I think, yeah, the foundry outpaces that. Same with the levy. Okay. That should be a good amount of speed. Oh. Leather plant, then the modern earthworks. There we go. Yeah, when I bother to take the time to improve at least a couple tiles, the city's production ends up spiking. With very good results, at least when it comes to the production gain from building buildings that improve the base production, the multiplier in base production. Okay, I think this tile needs to have its thing replaced, but it's not like there's any workers nearby, and, well, it's not super duper important to do this for every single tile. Just ignore it for the time being. It'll get replaced eventually. It'll build itself up eventually. time to get these eastern cities a little more developed. This one tells. Nothing says secular republic like a massive Jesus statue. Anyway. Brazil. So, the wonder should help with future stuff. Should I start changing civics again, it won't be nearly as bad. You know what? Let's build the Alamo over here as well. Motel. Okay, it's a bit odd that I haven't built the Globe Theater yet, but go ahead and do that. Right, I need an animal trainer. Let's get that coal mine out of the way. I get the odd feeling that the chariot workshop is probably the best option. I should also build the aqueduct so I can get the gondola canals built. Now, I only need to remember where the aqueduct happens to be. Let's see, it should be around here somewhere. I feel like down here is too far forward. There it is. Okay. Right. Now it's time for the engineering school. Nothing else is nearly as effective, so... And then the factory is the obvious choice on what to build next. Nothing else can match a factory. Except stuff that's already kind of been replaced. Right, we're all fully healed and kitted out. And it's already been 9 minutes. Yeesh. Knock, sculpture workshop. Can't you make the carnival building? Yes. minerals, the motel. Let's get your tech out of the way. Okay, I can handle food later. No production, food is a lot. Is there really no production, or... Okay, so there's a couple of buildings left, but they're like science stuff, so... Okay, for you, it's time for you to set up your university so you can build the engineering school. And then after the engineering school is, of course, the factory. Okay, build a railroad. Set up that motel. And a user research lab, and then aircraft settler, and then modern infantry. You need your mining camp. No way around it. 39 production in 11 turns is far too good to ignore. Just keep hammering away at the city. I probably should start settling interior locations. Like over here? Yeah, over here, definitely. Land in Cabase. I'll figure something out. Not sure what you were asleep there, but... Okay, right. I don't think there's a button that allows me to map out the city. No, I don't see any overlays. I could turn on the resources toggle, but... it makes the game lag just a tad more. Okay, there's some stuff up here that's... yeah. Ooh, I need to replace that with a mine. But if I plant a city here, then there's... I can still maintain that river and also get some reach into here. And probably plop a city up here-ish. Yeah, okay. Right, that's the tile. Some modern infantry there that I need to take down. You don't really have the reach unless you get up, because this one actually has reach since I gave it Scorched Earth. One. Or maybe it's just the fact that maybe a battleship just has longer range. Oh, satellite's done. Time to send you off into space. Can't even get you any faster. Okay. Snake bit. I built the industrial farms. Okay. So, now that there's been some time passing, I can go ahead and grab the traction engine workshop. It seems like a good, yeah, it's fairly good return. Actually, yeah, I mean ecology, these camps are going to get replaced. Or, well, we'll have upgrades available. So, Guildhall's actually better than the traction engine workshop, though. So, build that first. After that, Hydro plant seems to be the most efficient option. Yep, it is. Okay. So build in that order. And then we'll have ecology. Yeah, I think from here on out it's gonna be 3 techs a turn.
We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children.
Department of Water. Department of Energy. Yeah. Ooh, compost dump might actually be a good idea. Montreal Biodome, +1 free specialist per 100 camp. Oh. Sponsored animal and regular intervals. Okay. It's been a while since I've gotten new civics. Something that does mean I'll have to end up dropping the guild hall. But I think this might be better to use. For other stuff, Yeah, why not? One turn of revolution. 2 major civic changes. And all it takes is a turn. And it also brings in the solar roofs. Oh, there's so many breeding programs. I'm gonna leave any further for later. The loss of the guild hall will lower production, but I think I can still get through it, no problem. Oops. Burn some movement points unnecessarily. That will slow down the construction ever so slightly. Space. And Sputnik. I mean, Sputnik is actually that simple. It was a very, very simple shape. It's just, well, a sphere with a battery in it. And a very, very small, well, radio. I think those spokes are antenna, so it can broadcast the signal it was sending back down to Earth. And it was just a simple signal. A beep, 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 as the quote in the game goes. I don't think there's anyone that's by a lake. But I can still plant a marine institute in one of my cities. Fairly easily this way. I'm not waiting 8 turns. There's a decent chance that it will get attacked either by another wild animal or by a barbarian ship or by a privateer that's posing as a barbarian ship because that's what privateers do. It's the whole point of using them. Plausible deniability. I'm not sure if the later Civ games actually have this. Okay, they probably do. It would be weird if they didn't. But there is an element of plausible deniability that actually is, well, modeled by the game. I'll just leave it to sleep up there until it's done with the thing and I remember to... Oh yeah, there's a penguin here. Yeah. Okay, so we need the horse trainer. I don't think I need the aqueduct. Nope, no gondola canals. Okay, let's build that hotel. No, no, no. Animal trainer horse. Then the modern earthworks. Farm needs its production. Bear. Scorched earth. Ah, Blitz is so nice. Okay. Papyrus. We'll grant a bit of production. Oddly enough. Yes, 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 and that. Excellent. Okay, I should build the aqueduct. It is here. Okay. Beyond that, I'm not actually sure what to do next. Lumber mill's also pretty good. Fairly efficient timings. Okay, so I need to build that mathematics department at some point or another. And I can't wait until I get ArcSiv. But ArcSiv is information era level tech, so... Let's get these two out of the way. I've got fairly good efficiency. Like, is this genuinely within any city's reach? No. Lost flanking 2 and 3. Let's get you that urban warfare. Yep, and because of all that bombardment, I think all the defending units have actually been destroyed. So it's now just a bunch of civilians and possibly that horse archer walking in. But they'll be coming later. Nope, they're there. Okay. Bombard. Bombard. Gotta start thinking about dealing with this city as well. Head over here and start handling those gems. Right, it's probably best to build a farm on that tile. Tight. Get those breeding programs through. There. Nice and simple. Alright, it's up here, so there's nothing I can actually... I can't actually build a rare earth mine, it's just... not barren enough, oddly. It needs actual barren or stony tiles or whatnot. Okay, Honolulu, I need some modern infantry. There you are. Okay, so yeah, you need that mining camp. If you're missing the mining camp, then definitely build it. Okay, so you haven't built the cool stuff yet. Let's see here. The Metropolitan Administration is a must build. It's not very powerful. Bronzes, hmm. Hmm. Compared to everything else, it's one of the best ideas. Platinum as well. The Lumber Mill is just way too expensive. Then I can push through the parts plant. Yeah, most of these options just don't provide very much production. Admittedly, the high-tech coal power plant is probably one of my best options. Now that I take another look at the numbers that this is giving me, I guess after that, the parts plant. I mean, Nundwa should see some more development soonish, although it may take longer than for its queue to finish. Okay, your mining camp has been built. So, carpenter, lumber camp, bamboo grove, grass gatherer. Everything else can be replaced by the modern earthworks or by the lumber camp that I'm literally building very, very soon. Okay, you're gonna need 2 turns to heal in full. That is fine by me. Build some buildings. Ooh. Yeah, after I research recycling, I'm gonna need to think of what to research next. Okay, hunting no, there's already hydro down here. Never mind. The tile looked empty. Oh, great, it's a big game hunter. Being annoying again. You, and you. It's fine, I guess. Okay, high-tech coal power plant complete. The chariot workshop is, yeah, efficient, but not as. Oops, hit the wrong key. There we go. Not as efficient as the modern earthworks. Nowhere near as efficient, really. So that's the breeding programs, and I probably should build the asphalt road so I can get the road signs and whatnot out of the way. It's always fun to see ludicrous numbers from defeating a whale. Excellent. Let's see here. You know what? Oh, not progressive. I think I can handle the naive trait. After all, I don't really need SP. Oh, I think that just dropped my espionage production by a lot. I'm not sure how high it was beforehand. I think it was higher, but... Right, drop you in here, and I can move the army over to Charkemish. Then once I've handled that city, I can conquer Atusa, and then go over to Zapotec and raise it. It's just in a position I don't like. When I plant one of the new cities, I think if I remember to, name it Zapotec. As a reminder of what I have done in order to satisfy my need for organization. Magnetite mine. Yep. And these. And this and this. That. That. Okay, I'm gonna need to build that road eventually. But perhaps I can put it off a little while. Okay, gondola canals. Parking lot, street cars, electric lamps. Aluminum smith. Software firm. I think everything else is 1 to 2 efficiency, but I can leave that for later. Perhaps in the future I will obtain better efficiencies. For now though, it's best if I'm a bit careful on what I build and when. And I don't need to fill it out that much. I can, after all, slow down for a second and, you know, let it handle a few buildings and then go on to whatever's next. Does not need to be super duper ultra efficient extreme. Still be the best choice of the lot. Okay, just build a manufacturing plant. I can figure out what to do beyond that later. Yeah, another one I don't really have much to say. I will say this, recycling, as it stands nowadays, is a bit of a scam. It used to be more so, but there have been some investment into good actual techniques in order to, you know, do some actual recycling. But a lot of recycling companies just take the refuse and just toss it somewhere else. You know, in a landfill far, far away. Out of sight and out of mind and all that. Which is very much not the correct way to handle things. It really isn't. Okay, magnetite mine. The electric lamps are very expensive, and does not bode well for the costs of the other buildings. Sad. Well. There's naught I can do but build these 2 buildings and hope that... Oh, good lord. It should have more production than this. That's not a good sign. Ugh. I mean, part of the reason is that recycling...
We live in a disposable society. It's easier to throw things out than to fix them. We even give it a name. We call it recycling.
Even the game acknowledges that. But yeah, recycling isn't actually all that useful. But I will grab it. Okay. Wait, what is the list of technologies I can do? That's not a very long list. Okay, actually it is longer. It's just that the message is in the way. Yeah, okay, there's still some stuff. New urbanism is something I should do eventually. Let's go with vertical flight so I can start doing some more space stuff. Yeah, lunar exploration. And really, it's just the plain and simple reason is that recycling just isn't economic. It's cheaper in money to simply just dig the metal out of the ground. And that's really the problem with it all. Metal extraction is cheaper in money than the traditional methods of obtaining. Well, then, yeah, the traditional methods of obtaining metal are simply cheaper than recycling, than taking old used stuff, melting it down, and using it again. Well, melting it down. It depends. Metal is extremely easy to recycle. So long as you can get all the pieces back together, you can melt it down and rework it, and you get a brand new, well, whatever you're going to do with it. I mean, there are limits, but that's why I said you need to gather up all the pieces. If you have a piece of metal and you shatter some sort of metal tool and you manage to break it or bend it beyond belief or shatter it, yeah, that's how you resolve that. Okay, that should be good for your cue. Okay, I can't really do much more for these cities. Yeah, I really can't. There's only so much that can be done with how things are set up. Do I want to go hydroelectric dam? No, let's go with farm here. And that's genuinely a problem that we have right now. Because fact of the matter is, love it or hate it, capitalism works off of profit incentive. Generally speaking, a company will pick whatever action will provide it the most money. I mean, of course, there are exceptions. One of the deceits of modern economics, and especially of past economics, is the assumption that everyone is 100% rational and materialistic. Which I don't think I need to tell anyone is, frankly, an incorrect way of viewing how people work. Everyone's got complaints about that conception one way or another. I don't think I need to specify how exactly. It's really not important. But, yeah, that does not work. Simply, the people leading the company and making decisions on what the company should do are very much not going to be 100% rational. They're not going to make perfect decisions for multiple reasons. So as a result, yeah. It still is, however, somewhat true that you need to, in order to make it so that environmental techniques work, you're going to need to make it profitable. While while companies overall are not fully rational, they do tend to be at least somewhat rational, if only in the short term. Long term is very much a problem, as we can see, otherwise we would not have issues with climate change. Because right now, the rational thing to do is to play a game of chicken for as long as possible. Because if you stop polluting the environment first, well, your competitors have an advantage. Because resource extraction depends on a concept called a negative externality. Because you cannot extract something from nothing. You can convert something from one thing or another, but oftentimes the process has inefficiencies baked in. And these, or well, the end result of the inefficiencies, are generally speaking negative externalities, which are negative things that can't really be, well, represented by a monetary cost, or at least not easily, and aren't, for the time being, presented in such a manner. These are things like bad wages. Well, or perhaps better put, wages not paying a person the full amount of value that they produced. Of course, this makes perfect sense. If the value produced, if, you know, a worker were to be paid the full value of what they had produced, well, then the company would no longer have profit, because all of the would-be profit has gone into workers' wages. Which is part of the reason why capitalism is a negative thing and fairly unfair. Oh, and with ecology, the lumber mills will start to convert to tree farms. Let's deal with that. I can have my units take a moment and deal with other issues first. It's not really a problem. And right now, for the most part, all but the most egregious of pollution and environmental damages are negative externalities. These are costs that are not monetary and can be safely written off by the balance sheets and whatnot. If you can create, however, real costs in doing these things and enforce them too, that's important, because if you don't enforce them, then the cost can be bypassed somehow. The actual way it's done isn't really important, but it usually involves bribery or something. Some level of corruption, generally speaking. That's just how it works. Of course, this is also the reason why, to some degree, it is actually a good idea to have fines as punishments for certain crimes. On the other hand, it tends to also be way, way more fun if, you know, company leaders were to actually go to jail for certain things, but that would probably mean pushing off the responsibility of certain actions to other people, so they will get jailed instead. It's always a catch-22 with the legal system. There's always ways to avoid it. And the richest people have no qualms in figuring out ways to do so. And worse, have the time and money to pay someone to figure out how to do these sorts of things. It's sad. But such is life in the world we live in. And is, to some degree, unavoidable. Yep, the hunter wandered off. That's fine by me, though. I'll bombard the city for a bit, and, well, there's not much else to do, but, oh, neat. I'm sure it won't be attacked by a random animal. Hopefully. But yeah, unless there are very real ways to ensure that this is the case, yeah. Just like how slavery was a negative externality. You could save so much money by being so utterly cruel. Let's see here. Yeah, you can still do urban tactics. It's plus 10% city defense. Yeah, plus 3% city defense. It's better just go full garrison 3. Maxing it out. Okay, now let me figure out a good tile to place you on. Well, I probably should place somewhere up here. I don't want to take the prime timber tile, though. And, well, okay, it's reasonable to put this somewhere in this general area, not too close to the other two cities over here, but honestly, where the kangaroos are is not the greatest spot, actually. It is decent, though. Either here or here. One of those two. Here. Maybe. Because if I do want to plant a city, it's going to be somewhere around here-ish. Yeah, if I do plant a city in this portion of the interior, it will be here. Or possibly up here. So a bit further down is not a bad option. Assuming it's not too close to that city. It might be. I need a double check. Oh, sharks. Okay, get rid of that. Bombard. The modern infantry unit there is fairly weak. Should be able to just... We're keeping the city. Well, Honolulu, you are building another modern infantry unit right away. Okay, get the breeding programs out of the way. And then aircraft settler. Gonna need another modern infantry, that's for sure. Rome. A fitting name for my first city that starts with European culture. It's actually very fitting, admittedly. Okay, let's get you these out of the way. There might be a new building along the way that I might want to set up. Susa. Okay. Factory? Probably. No. University. You're the new city, so build the mining camp first and foremost. No, you're the captured city. Here's the new city. Mining camp first and foremost. Plus, I've already developed some of the tiles here, so the city will have a decent time as it is. Although we'll probably outgrow some of the improvements pretty quickly. Do I want to settle here? It's not too close. I could instead settle here, but that is very close to this city as well. Although admittedly up here would be a nice balance of distance between all the various spots. I'll have access to all these mountains for mining. Of course, then I'm guaranteed to... Well, I would not be able to settle here anyway. It's too close, so... This tile it is. Oh, okay. Spend a turn to heal. Bear. I don't know if the Galapagos penguins could do that too. Falconry School and another one of you. Snake Pit. There. Okay, and then the next turn will be the last one after I've handled everything. That's the one mild annoyance of conquering a barbarian city. All the wild animals I have to deal with in the process. Case in point, look at the numbers on this city. Okay, you've built the fairgrounds, but there are new buildings to build, so go ahead and build those first. Alright, you've got your university, now it's time for the engineering school, and after that, the factory. The factory is an insane amount of production that it outpaces pretty much everything, easily. Okay, not quite. The modern earthworks is technically faster here, but I'm sure by the time it matters, the factory will be worth it. And that's also because there's a limited amount of production that you're getting from those tiles. Helicopters! It's pretty much what it is. Also obsoletes the camel, donkey, elephant, and horse, llama. Yeah. Because the helicopter training center, yeah. Also unlocks policing 7. But I need it in order to get astronautics. Anyway, time to bombard. Is the game hunter the only thing? No, there's other game hunters on the tile. But they're all getting damaged. Via collateral damage, so. Okay, let me handle the cities. Thankfully, most of them only need to handle simple stuff. Oh yeah, I can build these. That's certainly better of an option. Yeah, I can now build actual water improvements using the workboats. Which is nice because these coasts are, well, not improved, so. Yeah, the traps no longer function. Sadly. But I can work past it. Anyway. I'm pretty much done conquering these cities. Actually, well, I don't really need to ascend much. I'm sure there's got to be a hunter around somewhere that I can divert into doing something else for a little while. Okay, you know what? Let me check domestic units. Huh? Maybe it's a neutral territory. Down here. I thought I had more big game hunters running around. Perhaps they had been killed at some point and I didn't notice. But yeah, I'll have you handle things. Yeah. So I've got Sputnik now, plus Alizon, which means I now get European cultures as well. Has it updated to show these? Looks like it. Yeah, there's Helvetian. Polish. Yeah, so I can now build the European cultures. That's Trojan and Athenian. Yep. Hun. Lusitanian. Okay, it's a bit odd that that one's a bit faster to build than Athenian. Perhaps it starts further back than I specifically remember. I need to build that National Science Foundation sometime soonish, though. You know what? Build it first. And I'll use New Urbanism as the free tech. Because that can get me some more production. And cash. Well, really science. Seaside gets me a new mixed-use development. There it is. Gets me a bit more science and definitely a lot more cash. It's not really production, actually. It's science and cash. Because commerce automatically converts into 100% science. And I've also gotten a new personality trait. Well, traits. I picked up a positive and a negative. I now have Naive 1, which severely reduces the amount of espionage I get, as well as signs from spies. And also Progressive. Of course, that means that it's going to be a long, long time before I get the next. Yeah, I basically, yeah, it's genuinely. I need to double the amount of culture that I have in order to get to the next level. It will not take 3,000 turns, I can tell you that. It will not 3,000, 6,000 turns. It will definitely not take 6,000 turns. It will take less turns than that, because the rate at which I produce culture is speeding up. I'm producing almost 140,000 per turn. And I need 14 billion culture. Is it really 14 billion? Yes. And 140,000. Let me check the numbers one last time. Count the digits one more time. Yeah, it's 9 digits in total. And there's 6 here. So at the current pace of culture production, I'm going to need a little more than 1,000 turns. Of course, at the current pace of gameplay, this is going to take 40 episodes. Yeah, I'm sorry, but there's so much to do with handling cities that... Yeah. Maybe I need to start automating production. Maybe I do, but... Either way, I've got a couple wonders on the way. Globe Theater is almost finished. That gets me yet another signs from celebrities. And there's Rock and Roll, which can get me more signs from celebrities. The National Science Foundation that I'm building is going to get me a free tech, plus even more signs from Saipon. And this Alamo will get me more great generals. Well, okay, what it really means is I'm going to get more great hunters. Because literally I don't actually have much of a chance for a great general. Okay, for now, there is actually a pretty decent chance of obtaining a great admiral as things stands, but that may change in the future. I'm sure quite a bit of that comes from just bombarding cities. Either way, now that ecology's researched, these lumber mills will um, upgrade into tree farms eventually. It's probably gonna take time. Also, the shaft mines will eventually convert into modern mines as well. Let's see. Okay, Sue is on humanism. Hattie's researching civil service. Isn't humanism Renaissance? Further back. Yeah, okay, it's early Renaissance. And civil service is early medieval. Considering I am reaching the tail end of atomic. Although I would argue that there's going to be at least 10 more. Okay, maybe not 10 more episodes, but there's at least 5 more episodes of Atomic left to go. Which is fine by me, because I do want to conquer the world before Information Era comes in. because my planned information, yeah, it's weird. I still haven't done the thumbnail for Renaissance. Hopefully I'll get to that tomorrow. I was busy this morning. There were too many chores to do, sadly. Hopefully I'll get to it tomorrow. Yes, I will be recording as well tomorrow because this weekend happens to be a longer weekend. So, holidays and all that fun stuff. It is quite nice to get away from work. As to what exactly I'll do, I'm not sure how I'm going to handle things militarily. I am going to have to start training transport ships, aren't I? Yeah, because I'm going to have to land troops, and that requires transports. I'm probably going to land around here-ish in order to stay out of the range of sea defenses, and then bring the Navy together, have them stop hunting, and start bombarding Sioux cities. Although there is still stuff that I need to finish up doing here in order to get all the cities squared away and set up. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to stop here. Okay, I've gone on long enough. I need to stop pushing on the episodes so that they're they're an hour 20. Anyway, I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye.